Hi, my name is Dorian Raboy-McGowan, and today I, as well as my partner Jasmin, wanted to discuss different disparities in sleep across different areas, such as age, gender, and even how different cultures have come about different traditions in regards to sleep. Before that, however, I want to do a quick overview about what exactly sleep is, as well as go into explain the different stages of sleep. So, what is sleep? Sleep is a natural, restorative, physiological process that is characterized by perceptual disengagement and must be rapidly reversible. So when we think about sleep, we see that there's many different implications and it affects many different aspects of our life, physically and even mentally. On the cognitive side, we know that it's kind of um, a booster for cognitive function that boosts mechanisms of learning and memory and boosts synaptic plasticity. There's many different studies showing that getting adequate sleep allows able to boost the ability to retain and learn new information, as well as even physically in terms of learning a kind of hand-eye coordination sport or a game. It allows you to kind of become better in these areas. Um, Also, restoratively for the body, we know that sleep is boosts the immune system. It has a lot of restorative properties in that sense. So what is the sleep cycle? On the slide, we can see a graph depicting an individual's brain activity measured using EEG throughout their night of sleep. In terms of the sleep cycle, it can be broken down into two main categories, non-REM and REM sleep, REM being rapid eye movement sleep. For non-REM sleep, this takes about the bulk of the time spent sleeping throughout the night, which is 75% spent in non-REM sleep. For non-REM sleep, there's four main stages, with one being the kind of stage where an individual is falling into sleep, and stage four being the slowest brain activity and slow brain waves, which is the deep sleep that throughout the night, which is in stage four. We can see on this graph that it kind of depicts a wave pattern going from stage one down to stage four of non-REM sleep, and then spiking up to REM sleep. This spike is because REM sleep is the stage at the night where dreams occur. And during this time, the brain is conjuring these dreams during REM sleep, as well as reacting to these conjured dreams. Uh, that's why during this time of night, there's very high brain activity because the brain is both conjuring the dreams as well as reacting to them. Um, Also, to note during the REM sleep time, the body experiences sleep paralysis in order to not actually physically act out the dreams that the brain is reacting to in real time. On this slide, I wanted to go over a key motto from the Sleep and Dreams class, which is drowsiness is red alert. This has become a famous motto throughout the time that this class has been taught because the key takeaway from it is to help save lives, essentially. In today's age, there's a high prevalence of motor accidents due to lack of sleep. So by remembering this motto, when someone is behind the wheel, they can remember this famous motto while they're feeling drowsiness. And at this first instance of feeling drowsy, feel kind of a boost of alertness by remembering this motto, and to help maybe facilitate them off the road to take a nap or to help boost their alertness as they drive.
So, with respect to age, over a typical lifespan, sleep duration and sleep patterns change as we age, and total sleep time gradually declines from 16 to 20 hours of sleep per day for newborns to 9 hours for adolescents to function at their best, to 8 hours for adults and also the elderly, but the elderly may kind of struggle to obtain those hours in one block. And sleep cycles, which are composed of REM and non REM sleep, last for about 50 minutes in children and 90 minutes in adults. And infants and children's cycles contain a relatively large amount of slow wave sleep, also known as deep sleep, which is a lot more restorative. And slow wave sleep begins to kind of decline in early adulthood. So elderly adults typically have shorter periods of slow wave sleep and fewer of them, which actually means sleep is lighter and more fragmented. And one thing that actually changes as children pass into adolescence is the timing of their sleep. And our internal 24-hour clock, also known as the circadian pacemaker, plays a role in dictating when we fall asleep and wake up. So, with changes in the system related to development, preferred times for falling asleep and waking up are delayed in adolescence, leading to many high school students preferring to go to bed later. Unfortunately, school start times are usually much earlier than the typical kind of adolescent's naturally preferred wake time. So students wake at unusually early phases of their internal circadian cycle and also suffer from short sleep duration. Many students try and then catch up on their sleep by sleeping late on the weekends, but this actually only shifts their internal clock further out of phase with their weekday schedule. So forcing teenagers out of bed early in the morning to go to school can actually affect their physical and mental health alongside their attention span and ability to learn. So in 2019, a law was passed in California to push start times later for most schools, and high schools start no earlier than 8:30, and middle schools 8 o'clock, to help improve teenagers' school performance by ensuring they're adequately rested. In terms of the way gender affects sleep, historically, sleep research has focused disproportionately on males, leaving gaps in knowledge about sleep differences between the sexes. So sex and gender-based factors influence how and why men and women sleep differently, and generally women experience more sleep fragmentation and lower quality sleep. So in terms of sex-based factors, women and men have differences in their sleep architecture. Women spend more time in deep sleep and less time in stage 1, which is the lightest sleep stage. And in terms of our circadian rhythms, there are small differences in the rhythms between men and women, which affect quality and quantity of sleep. Women's actually internal clocks are a few minutes shorter, and they often have earlier circadian timing, meaning women go to bed and wake up earlier. However, hormones are a major driver of sleep differences between men and women. The menstrual cycle, for one, involves major changes in production of hormones, specifically estrogen and progesterone, and a drop in the level of these hormones prior to the start of menstruation causes emotional and physical effects, which also disrupts sleep. In terms of pregnancy, women experience very drastic hormonal changes that also interfere with sleep. And actually 50% of pregnant women are believed to experience insomnia-like symptoms and sleeping problems. In terms of menopause, that also involves a fundamental change in hormone production, and sleep problems are very common during menopause. The hormone changes induce changes to the circadian rhythm, and women generally experience hot flashes and night sweats. Turning to gender-based factors, caregiving is a prime example of a gender-based factor that affects sleep. So women disproportionately serve as informal caregivers for older adults, young children, and even ill family members. So caregivers experience more sleep interruptions, as well as heightened overall stress that can worsen sleep.
So for the final point of this presentation, I want to talk about the different disparities between different cultures and traditions that have come from the way they have viewed sleep. So on the left here, I have the word siesta, which is derived from Spain, which is translated to a mid-afternoon nap. These siestas, or the mid-afternoon naps, is commonplace amongst the warmest hours of the day, around noon after lunch. The picture I have there on the left is by Vincent van Gogh with his painting titled "The Siesta," which just shows how commonplace these siestas are in terms of the workers in these countries. In the middle, I have the word riposo, which is from Italy. This is very similar to the word siesta, also meaning a mid-afternoon kind of nap, or more so a break. This riposo is commonplace today, with many businesses in Italy taking a very extended 2 to 4 hour long break in the middle of the day. Then moving forward with the word on the right, which is inamuri, which is derived from Japan, and this comes from the culture of workers being extremely overworked and lacking a lot of sleep. We see a lot of workers in the office just taking a nap on the job, which is what this word, this term comes from, is the commonplace of workers having to take naps on their commutes or even at work on their desks. So moving forward with some final terms about disparities between different cultures and sleep. On the left, I have nudity in sleep. This points to Britain citizens reporting that over 1/3 of the citizens actually sleep nude. And then for the second term, napping outside, this points to Norway and Norwegian people having the belief that sleeping outside actually boosts the health. So it is actually commonplace in this country to see strollers of infants outside of convenience stores or stores while the parents are inside shopping or doing errands. And then for the final term, this term is moe uhane, which is a Hawaiian word, which discusses the belief that the Hawaiians have held that when you sleep, it's something called soul sleep. That when you sleep, your dreams are actually a way, an avenue for one to communicate with their ancestors, communicate with the gods, and even receive guidance from these ancestors, these gods, and be able to converse with them. So thank you so much for watching this presentation. I hope you learned some new info about sleep, as well as different disparities in terms of sleep. Thank you.